Pierce.
Furlow.
Appreciate you being here, my man.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
We were just talking about time and how important it is when collaborating and working with others to value their time just as much as yours, right?
Oh, for sure.
As much as like what we're doing here today is for my album, right? Like for you to take some time out of your day is so much more valuable to me. You know what I'm saying? To have you here and be able to do this is just a blessing. It's awesome, man.
For sure. The effort, it's a balance and effort, you know what I'm saying? It should always be a balance and effort. And the effort you put forth to, you know, set it all up, you know what I'm saying? That balance, I'm glad to come through. You know what I'm saying?
So, my guy. And I mean, if my brother was here right now, he's going to make fun of me because of how much I talk about you. He's like, "Wait, you're actually going to like shoot content with him?" I was like, "Yes, bro." Because ever since, I can't even remember where we first saw each other or first met. I know I first reached out over Instagram.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to figure out like where's the first time I saw you.
In the flesh. I'm not sure if it was the Dallas Entertainment Awards showcase, but I think there was a time before that.
I think it was the pre-roll show in Dallas, right? But I didn't say anything to you.
Yeah, I think we saw each other.
I saw you.
Saw each other.
And I was like, oh, that's dope. Because one of the coolest things about the pre-roll is that, you know, it's an event where there's so many artists going on back to back, you know,
for sure.
One song, two songs maybe, you know. You kind of get to watch, like you almost get to A&R it, you know, as an artist, like who's somebody I want to work with, whose sound do I like.
It's dope.
I mean, that's how I got to meet all you guys. Shout out to Soulja.
For sure. Shout out to Soulja. He putting together the pre-roll is almost like, because the crowd is extremely honest. They're very supportive, but they're extremely honest.
Yeah, so you know when the song's good or not.
For sure. It's like a lower scale hip hop, like Showtime at the Apollo. And it's like, you have some acts that are up there and people are like, oh, yeah, you know what I'm saying? They're going crazy. And some acts, they're like, oh, I'm about to go get a drink. And you see that. It's all right there.
Yeah.
So that's dope. I think it's cool in terms of like feedback, and people need that real interaction. And for people that have never performed, they learn what people will react to.
No, that's true. And like the cool thing about Jay, not only doing something like that, but he's always open after to go up to him and be like, hey, like he remembers everybody's performance.
Dude, he's so for the people.
Yeah, and he's so like he'll give you feedback on your performance that happened 4 hours ago.
Right.
And there's been 40 people that performed since then.
Oh, for sure.
And it's like, dude, he's so like dialed. It's wild.
Crazy, and I commend Soulja's like ability to keep his own thing going, like with him as an artist personally, but still have all of these avenues to reach back. And you know, we were on a call the other day and he's putting me on game for, you know, sponsorships for the tour. And that's huge, you know what I'm saying? That's huge.
He's
like
a staple
to come up with. So shout out to that man for sure.
Yeah, he's a huge staple. All right, but we're here to talk to you, my brother.
Oh yeah.
So I went and listened to every song you ever dropped.
Yeah.
And you don't have one bad one, and it makes me mad. Because you know what I'm saying? Like, just as a competitor.
For sure.
I'm like, he's just got to at least one. And brother, like even the 2017 stuff, is like that's better than most people's stuff now. It's like, that's crazy. But so with doing some research and listening, 2023, was such a wild year.
For sure.
Starting like you had the 2 drops in January, you had one in February, one in March, and then the album also at the end of March. And that album is so fire. So let's talk about that for a minute. So what does Past Due mean to you?
God, so I started writing Past Due in like 2020.
Damn.
I produced like 150 to 200 songs for it.
Okay, so we're gonna stop you right there. So you also produce?
Yeah, majority of the project is me.
Bro, because every beat is so fire.
Hey, and the only other producer
Is Michael?
Yeah, is Mike.
Big Ferg.
Yeah, Big Ferg. And shout out to him. He is
dope dude. Super.
He flipped the ideas on their head to the point where I was like, oh shit, we have something like very special now.
What do you mean by that?
What I'm saying? So like we were talking a little bit earlier about Elam. At first Elam was just a guitar and like Fouché singing and me like whispering things, because initially it was called Love Never Fails.
Okay.
And I was just whispering that from a bunch of different angles, like it was like this cinematic thing. And that was pretty much the song. Actually, funny enough, the song was Open House, and then it segued into that. So we cut Open House off.
Right.
And when I realized that that was in the same key of like 2 or 3 beats that Mike had sent me, this was before we like truly like knew each other. We didn't.
And you're saying this is 2020?
No, that Open House and the like ends of Elam was done 2020, 2021, around there.
Damn.
I moved back 2022.
From where?
From Baltimore. I was up in Baltimore,
okay.
And that's how I was able to get into certain studios and stuff like that. I was working in a home studio for the most part, and every now and then when I got a chance to travel, I would try to find studios where people were at. And yeah, I met a few like random people on the street that did music and that would hand out their cards, listening session, this and that, like in DC, in New York, and I would always go. I mean, why not? And you end up in these studios where it's like, this might not be great, but next door, there's something insane going on, you know?
I can hear it, yeah.
So just jumping from studio to studio and quietly working on this thing that has so many songs. It was so many songs on that project, but you know, that was the intro. And then I came back, I saw Mike on Instagram randomly with like, he's just,
his Instagram is wild.
Yeah, he does these videos, and he does this content, you know what I'm saying, often. And it really focuses on the music and personality.
100%.
And that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? That's amazing. So
yeah.
He posted one of those, and I was like, okay, this beat is different. It makes me excited, but like, where's his head at with this? This is crazy. So I reached out, and I think I was in Baltimore. I was getting on a flight, and he called me and he sent like different types of things, like
trying to see what the vibe was,
soul type things, some Monty Booker type things, because that's what I was telling him I wanted.
At this time, how many songs did you have out?
I had just taken an album off of streaming services.
Okay.
So at the time, I had like this collective project that I did called Saran Wraps.
Yeah.
And and I had
that was like, 2019, right?
Yeah,
I believe.
Kind of. I guess it's hard to. That one is such a blur.
Oh well, we're past that. Bro.
Such a blur. And then 3 songs from the 2017 project, Reserve, and that was it. Like, and then a Lucy, just a single that we made on the fly. And yeah, that was really it. So we're looking at like 14 songs on streaming.
Oh man. So he was just kind of maybe tapped into that, tried to create something that was, so he was just like, this is what I'm making right now.
This is what I got.
Let me know what you think.
Like, cool.
Okay.
So, and I sent him stuff, and you know, it was all right, cool. Like, this is what I'm working on. And then it just so happened, like, I went to the studio one night, saying he was there. My dude Sway was there.
Nice.
And we locked in that one night, but I don't think we made any, like, he made music there, and I was just kind of like, oh, this is cool, that's cool. And then one day I just came with a finished project. I locked in the studio. I had the beat for Elam, like the main part, and that was Mike. And I know that was like an old beat. I know he didn't think much of it at the time. And then I just started rearranging shit. Like, all right, we need some stutters here. And then I was just mad scientist at the moment and adding like certain elements, but still keeping the integrity of what he created.
Yeah.
And once those worlds meshed together, because I just spent all this time studying the Soulquarians and all of this neo soul stuff.
Yes.
So add that to like crazy trap. My God. And then when I played that, it was like, I know it was a moment that we were both like, oh, shit, we got something. So then we started listening to the rest of it, and the sessions just got crazier and crazier because it went from just these sparring sessions. You know, I'm in there with him and Nojo Wallace. Spook was in there from time to time. Even Spike came through a few times. And we're in here and we're just making music. It's not for the purpose of anything. We're just doing it.
Right.
And those sessions made great music. And it just, time and time again, it just kept going. So we always, every time we collab, there was a merge. Like, it would always merge. We understood each other's end goal, but we approach from two different ends.
And you can hear that in the album.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we were talking about the Elm track of just that little break.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you're meshing two different worlds into one song, and the whole album is pretty much conceptually like that.
Yeah.
So you and him were well together because you're bringing this his mind is crazy.
Yeah.
And y'all are bringing like a different flavors to this one product, and it's amazing.
For sure.
Yeah.
So shout out to Mike, man. He really changed the trajectory of how that album was gonna land.
So this was 2023, right?
This was like 2022.
Okay, when y'all
were doing this,
right?
And then the album was done, I want to say October 2022. It was like completely finished. Like the track list was different, but by the time like January came around, it was like, all right, we need to push this and we need to turn it in like at this time, and we need to have like
4 weeks before, so you can put it on Spotify playlist.
Everything. I went back to Baltimore to do the cover shoot and content in a place where nobody in Dallas could. You wouldn't get that out of Dallas Big U.
So I was gonna talk to you about the cover art too.
Yeah.
That's you? You like designed that?
Yeah.
With like the little, like the 4 little U's.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Oh, so you do your cover arts too?
Every cover art, the concept. Oh yeah, for the extended. Yeah, man, that was.
Let's just wrap it up. I'm done here.
That was an idea that I took. So we talked about the 3% rule. Craziest thing is that came from 2 places. So when Frank Ocean was dropping all of those loose singles,
like Chanel,
right. DHL, all of that stuff, he had like in the bottom corner, it was down there like different action figures, but they were blurred out, and it was all him.
Okay,
that was cool. And then Jordan Ward, who just dropped an amazing album, Forward, in the bottom corner, it was kind of like a logo. And it was just like these silhouettes of him like walking forward. It was cool. So I was like, damn, that's cool. How do I put a spin on that?
Right.
So I just did the same thing, but with an actual picture, and it's distorted. So it just looks like you're spinning, and then it moves here, and then it moves there. So like, man, that was the easiest photo shoot ever.
Because that's the extended version.
Yeah, that's
the right.
Yeah.
The other one is just you with the phone, right?
Me with the phone. We're in this 70s themed apartment in the middle of a trench in Baltimore. We're using all of the time, like even the like little visualizer for the Danger freestyle. We ran out of time and we were literally in the parking lot. I said, set up the camera low so you won't see anything but the sky, and I'm just gonna wrap in a circle around it. So like, just really making do with not having a lot of budget or a lot of time or a lot of space or a lot of resources.
Well, I think one of the coolest videos of yours, besides the LM video, which I found out that you also edited that, which blows my mind.
Man, appreciate it.
Besides that, is it correct me if I get the name wrong. Building Blocks.
Building Blocks.
Where you're playing the piano.
Yeah.
And then you come in the frame and start rapping.
Yes.
It's like two different versions of you.
Yeah, love it.
Because you're wearing like you have like your rapper fit on. Yeah. When you're rapping, but then like you're wearing like
cardigan and
you're wearing like church clothes.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like dang, that's crazy. So you play piano.
Somewhat. I play what I need to play to make the music.
Beautiful.
So yeah, for sure.
Okay, so you and Ferg produced most of Past Due.
Yeah.
The OG or the extended? Both?
So the OG, I'll say, so Ferg was Elum, second half of Building Blocks, Outdated. Yeah. Okay. And then he created the sample for the actual song Past Due.
Gotcha.
Which was dope. Yeah. So I took that and flipped that. But everything else was like, it was either there before or I made it off of inspiration of those like pillars. So, and then the extended, Ferg is on, of course, the track with Benny, Shake and Move. Killed that, by the way. Jesus.
Just that whole song in general is such a vibe, especially when you perform it.
I love performing
when you perform it. It's
with the chords.
Yeah, bro.
It's a great time, man. And yeah, the other ones were literally just me catering to whoever ended up on the track.
Yeah.
So like even the one with Wayne, shot in the dark.
Yeah, we gotta talk about it because like Wayne is like the biggest inspiration of anybody who's rapping that already.
Oh my God, yeah.
And that beat. Did you produce that beat too?
Yes, I did.
I love like that bass line.
Oh, that's all it was at first.
Oh, but like even like the little added layers to it.
Yeah.
But it just that. And then at the end, there's a little bit of drums, which is dope.
Just a little bit. You just got
to because it transitions into the next song. It hits so perfectly, and I was like, "That's just like that's everything is calculated, man."
Yeah,
but you gotta tell me about the Wayne thing.
Yeah,
that's like
for sure. That was so not supposed to happen. So yeah, but it happened, and it was cool. I like it. I like the way it happened too. So basically, that stemmed from the whole Fouché thing. So Fouché is the artist at the end of Elum, but she's also the writer for Bad Habits, Steve Lacy, which is like took over the world for a second. And she's like alternative rock, but also like sprinkled with some R&B in there. Like she's dope as hell. Okay. But yeah, man, when I got those vocals, it was from a producer that was just in those sessions. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just there. So I ended up with a pack of just hella vocals from her. Hella vocals. So I was like, all right. So I made like 4 songs where I just sprinkled like some oohs and ahs and then like a hook, just random stuff. And that little section, it just sounds like you're in a field and it's nice. So it would have been a cool like opposition. So I kept that. But when I was trying to credit people, I sent it to the person that I got it from, and he sent it to the person you got it from. And
down the chain.
Apparently it ended up getting played in a session with her.
Nice.
And that's why I had no problem when I had to put in everybody's like, the feature went through immediately. So it was like, oh, okay, like they're good. So then they were playing it, and little did I know, she was in a session with Wayne on a song that just came out with him and her together.
Oh my god.
Which is sick because that was like years back. So the guy was like, oh, like you're a producer, do you have any beats? Like I'm like, shit, yeah. So I just sent the wildest stuff possible because like Wayne at this point, you know, he can rap on river music if he'd like. So it's like, cool.
I'm waiting on the folk music, Wayne.
Exactly. So I said like, it's just the bass. It's just the bass. And then I'm rapping on it though.
Yeah. And the bass line, the pockets y'all are hitting with it.
That's it. And then I'm still doing like top of the morning, you know, just kind of, I didn't even put a lot of, the piano was just at the end, like during his part.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even as crazy. It was just like little stabs here and there.
Saying. Like, but it creates such a tone for the album.
I want to say a year and a half passes. A year and a half passes, and the guy is just like, yeah, by the way, like, we're sending that. I think I was in Deep Ellum. I was with a friend, and I get an email, and the header is Pierce featuring Lil Wayne. That's what the subject is.
This is right around the time I started following you. Like,
Yeah,
we started getting connected.
for sure.
So I saw that, and I was like, no way.
Dude, I'm looking. I said, what the fuck? So I showed my friend. He's like, no. Like, that's crazy. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to run to the car real quick. I'm playing it. I said, there's no fucking way.
I would have been crying.
There's no way. And I'm listening. I said, and this is a good Wayne feature. Like,
that's awesome.
Good.
Because no disrespect to Wayne.
Yeah.
But there's been a couple times.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of times where it's like, okay, you know.
Yeah.
But, man, when I heard that, I said, okay, this thing is a go. Like, we're doing this. Like, it's set in stone. Yeah, so that's when I was like, okay, I got to lock in, get everybody involved, because with Wayne on the intro, this could go. So, and then the Benny feature came in, and then it was like, it was different names in the mix. Exhibit.
Pimp My Ride?
Pimp My Ride. Why?
He almost pimped the album?
Love Exhibit and his contribution to California, man, and Pimp My Ride to MTV.
Shut up.
Yeah, no. Love Exhibit. But when you have the other things on the table, it's like, okay.
Yeah,
cool, right?
When you have the option to be like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
That's such a great place to be.
It was a weird couple of months there.
I can imagine.
Because there was a lot of music going around, and at the time I was like, damn, I haven't copywritten a lot of this. Like, I need to get on the ball. They might still, yeah. So in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, bad things could happen because.
Right.
But the real hurdle was, okay, I'm ready to drop. Who do I need to talk to in order to get this clear? Because if I try to send this to United Masters or DistroKid, they're gonna be like, dude, this is a Wayne feature. We need paperwork and da-da-da.
Yeah.
Cool. So I got everyone's paperwork except for Wayne's. So I'm like, all right, let's figure this out.
Yeah.
I'm calling people. They're like, hey, you can use it. He loves it. He's heard it. Like, he remembers it. Nice. Cool. Does he know who you are? Absolutely not.
No.
But he knows that bass line. That's cool. So I'm like, all right, nice. Who do I need to talk to? Okay, you need to talk to Sony, then you need to talk to this person, then you need to talk to that person. And we've waived this one, but you need to talk to this person. And the runaround was so hectic for months. I'm on the phone with everybody for a while, and they are tripping. Even the video for Ellum, since Fouché wasn't in it, they forced me to take it or take her name off of the video on Apple Music. So
it's just the industry.
Oh my God. Crazy, and it was crazy because the Ellum video popped up on Fouché's, like, for all of the people that follow her on Apple Music, boom.
Like right there.
It got like 4,000 views in 5 seconds. Like, it was sick. And then automatically it was like, clip it.
That's because she's not in the video.
Because she's not in it. So it was like, you can say the Ellen video, just not featuring her because she's not there. And it was like, all right. So, you know, same thing with the runaround for Wayne, but what we came up with was writing credits. You can release the song. We get this percentage, which was obscene, an obscene amount with the percentage, but you can release it. You cannot say
this split
Wayne.
For Wayne is what you're saying. That
I doubt he's even touching any of the money.
But did y'all get a hefty split too, or was it?
No. Absolutely not.
I mean, that made sense, but dude,
not much money on that.
It's dope.
It was cool.
Yeah.
And to have the Benny the Butcher feature there,
also super
and it's
fire.
on his Essentials on Spotify, like, it's
super fire.
Dope. And I
and it's
love
a great
that.
song.
Oh man, appreciate it. And shout out to Sway Justin for having the best verse on that song, man. Wow.
Dude, like, there isn't one bad song, let alone a bad verse. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be a good song, but don't have a bad verse. It's all right. It's like, literally every lyric that goes on that entire album is calculated, thought of, and executed so well. Sure. It's one of the best projects, like, I've heard.
And I appreciate
let alone, like, know the person who made it.
For sure. Like, I appreciate that, bro. I really, like, even, like, my gratitude for the city, like, everybody that contributed to that. A
lot of dope names.
I wanted everything. I wanted, like, videographers, like Creeper. Creep, my dude behind. He's an amazing artist, everything,
Nice.
but his camera quality is insane, dude. So he shot all the videos. And you know, we had great photographers. Brittany created. It was a great time, and the actual features that were there, I wanted to merge just everyone.
Dude, hey, and you did it. So what from past due OG
Yeah.
to past due extended?
Yeah,
It was March, December.
yeah.
During that, like when you released past due, did you think in mind of like, I want to get these features, I want to do all these things, or was it like it just happened to happen that way?
I realized I wanted to do a collaborative project when I saw the response to Past Due, the original version.
Gotcha. Because that's fire in itself,
yeah,
right? But it's only like, it's like if there was a book, it's like the first chapter.
Right.
You know, or like even just like the introduction.
For
It's not
sure.
even like it's amazing.
For
it makes
sure.
it like make more like the back of the book. Like
Yeah.
reading what the book is
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
And then the extended like is the
It
book.
just brings it all,
It's the
and
book,
especially listening to it all the way through.
Yeah.
And man, I met so many people during that time that didn't know about the album. It wouldn't have even made sense for us to collab because they didn't understand my artistry or where, you know, things were going. Or,
Yeah. All that stuff.
Yeah, all of that. And once it was really the show circuit that started opening people's eyes. And from March to like pretty close to the end of the summer, I didn't have many shows at all. I had like Restoring the Feeling with Hendo, shout out to him, before the album even came out. And that was great. And then after that, I didn't have like a bunch more shows, like maybe 2 or 3 smaller ones here and there. And then the end of the summer hit, and So Far reached out.
All right. So the end of summer,
Yeah.
that's when. Tell me about the So Far process.
My God.
Like, how does it, like, do you apply? Do they reach out to you? Do both? Is like, how does all that work?
So, man, funny enough, I was scheduled to have a So Far in 2020. The pandemic hit, and it got canceled. It was my first one. I was planning on dropping what is now Past Due.
Okay.
And I had this great group of songs. And I had this idea of how we were gonna do it. And there was supposed to be these people there, and like people from like NPR and like all of this stuff. And it fell through. And I was like, okay, damn. I stayed in the system though. And I never heard anything back ever. Like I was trying to get So Far as in
This is
Baltimore.
2020.
Yeah, and
COVID hit, obviously.
COVID starts going down, and then you know, people are back outside, and they're revving the shows up again, and I'm still not really getting contacted. So the album drops, and in my mind, I'm like, I need more shows. So I start like, I start trying to add better media, you know, a video of me performing, something.
EPKs, stuff
Yeah,
like that.
anything,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And randomly, I got booked for one, and it was almost like, we'll see how this goes.
On your side, we'll see how this goes, or their
For
side?
there, like that's very much how I felt. And I ended up being on such like a great roster of people
Nice.
that night. And we were at the Oak Cliff Assembly. It's like a lighthouse.
Nice.
And they like, it's like almost a revitalized church that's in a lighthouse.
Oh, that's perfect.
It's so dope, but it's a bigger venue, like a medium-sized venue.
Because mostly So Fars are like,
They're pretty small.
Pretty
This
much
is
like
one
this
of the
corner.
larger ones, and this was my first one. So I walk in, and you know, they don't tell you the order of who's opening, who's closing
Really?
until you get there.
So you can walk in like, you're about to go on.
Like, yeah. So that's why you gotta get there for, you know. And man, I got there. We get there early, and there's like, you know, everybody sound checking. I'm meeting everybody, and then they say like, "Oh, you're closing," and I'm like, "That's weird. I thought I would open, but cool."
That's a good look.
It's sold out.
That's a good look.
Nowhere to park. Like, middle of the set, like, as I'm taking a break, a guy is screaming, like, running in the building screaming, talking about, like, y'all are in my parking spot. Like, from one of the residents, like, losing it. I'm like, it's that packed to where the residents are upset that we're parked. And, man.
Why was it packed? I mean, just because people love that shit, right?
And but that was back when I was, like, I was promoting so far as if they were a headlining show, like,
but why not?
Exactly. I was promoting them in that way, and people were like, "Oh, like that's cool, you know."
Super.
And over time, they went from those ones to like I started. It went very well, so I started doing the first shows at all of these new spots that they were doing. So far as that, so that turns into like a very long lasting like residency. So I'm just going 2 of them a week, just go. And the way I was promoting them, it's almost like, oh, Pierce is like on tour. Like, I got to check one of these. And it went from very huge spaces to like really intimate spaces. And then those will be the ones that a lot of people came to. And it's like, this is so packed out. Like, what is the...
I mean, dude, so my fiance's friend, we... during South by, we went to and saw you perform.
For sure, yeah.
And she filmed you, posted on her story.
Yeah.
And her friend reached out to her and was like, "Yo, I saw Pierce at So Far in Dallas. He's crazy. So fired." I was like, dude.
Yeah.
Pierce you got it, bro.
It was.
So you started doing this So Far as like you said twice a week or twice a month?
Almost twice a week. It just kept going. We did a bunch, and it was the newer ones, and man, getting invited to like at South by there, because So Far I had, you know, a South by show.
Nice.
And going to that and meeting the people there, and you know, that's how like Talks of Tour came about, and you know, putting all that together. So man, it was definitely a ride, and it showed me what worked. That first one I was like, okay, it's So Far, so we'll kind of do a band, but the banter and the talking to people, telling the stories behind it translates. And I think that's what I learned more than anything. The most important thing behind any of this, I could sit up and make a song in the flavor of Chief Keef, scream for 5 minutes. If I can perform it live, give it a story, give it some character, it will translate.
100%.
And if it translates, the people that it translates to, they turn into fans. They want to hear more. How does this sound on the actual service?
So we were talking about shows earlier. And just exactly that. Like, that is as much as we are artists, we're also fans.
For sure.
Right? So when we go to shows, obviously we're going to look at it differently, because like, how would I do it if I were them? Or can I take anything from this? Like, but if you just go as a fan and watch it, you want to hear stories. You want it to be an experience. You want to leave like, I know that guy. You know, and you do such a great job of that. That's why I wanted to talk about your shows.
Appreciate it.
The South by event.
Oh yeah.
At Porsche.
Yeah.
Hey, First of all,
appreciate that.
Like their whole setup was
it was crazy.
And the coolest thing about it, and I've never been to a show like this. You're sitting down on a stool. You got your laptop right here, the band in the back. JK is awesome, by the way.
Oh my God. Shout out
John on the guitar.
John.
Mike on the drums.
Of course.
Your band is sick.
Man.
But so you're sitting down and everyone's standing probably 6-7 feet away from you, right? So there's like this huge gap.
Right.
And everyone's just standing there, and you're going through your thing, you're talking, you're having a good time. One thing that's cool about you do is it a temp check?
Oh yeah.
I always think that's cool.
Everyone's still breathing,
and then that gets to the point where you go, everyone come up here. So we scoot forward, and then everyone sits down. Or at least the first couple rows sit down. And I was sitting there, I was like, bro, right in front of you. Just because I was in such shock of like how you can control a crowd without being controlling.
Right.
Does that make sense? Like you're not saying, hey, come here, sit down.
Yeah.
It's such an intimate vibe that you created that we feel comfortable enough to sit down in a random warehouse. Get my ass dirty, like for this, worth it.
For
like,
sure.
I'm gonna sit down the whole time. I don't care.
For sure.
You create such a vibe. And a lot of the songs you perform aren't to a T like the records. And I know that takes time.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that process of having to visualize the show, create the set list, and understand where the musical breaks are going to be, and then seeing it in life. Like, how does that work through your mind?
So I think over time I learned, don't stress over things that you can't control. And another thing I learned, one of those things you can't control, you know that song as much as you will on the day of. You know it as much as you will. If you've never performed it, if you haven't listened to it in a month, it doesn't matter. You know it as much as you will. Are you confident enough to shift gears mid-song, do something else? Are you confident enough to freestyle on the spot? Like, and that comes with putting in the time to do a bunch of shows. And I think with So Far, it was such a blessing because I was able to just test things out and do an acoustic set there, then do a set where I would like everybody to jump around at Ruins or, you know, stuff like that. See what makes people listen. What makes people stop? If I ask you to pull out your camera, is the mood correct for that? Do I have control over the lights? Can I tell them to just turn all the lights out? Can I, you know, because
confidently, right? I mean,
all of that, like, and you have to know at what point you have the crowd, and you have to do that up front.
And all that's going on while you're performing. You're having to like visualize the room and feel emotion while you're trying to remember lyrics.
It becomes a flow.
What's going on. Yes.
Yeah, it becomes a flow. And I think my general flow now is I open with something familiar. I open with something familiar. And when I say something familiar, it's a cover, but a deep cut. Like,
you're Anderson .Paak.
Yo, my God.
It is so good, dude.
It's like, it's a deep cut, but not that deep of a cut. Like, people that really know. People that really love music, they'll be like, oh, this one, this is cool.
It's a culture classic, right? Like a cult, cult classic, because of like, if you know, you know, and if you know, you really know.
You really know. So it's like, when you open with that, and not even the record version, the Tiny Desk version, like
exactly,
it's specific, and they're like, oh, what is that?
And
like somebody could
so good with it. Too. You don't sound like you're doing a cover. Like for most people, if they don't know that song, they're like, dude.
And I think that's my favorite part about it. I love when people think that I've created Suede. Oh my God.
But you fucking kill it. That's why.
And it's a call. I created a call and response out of and that's just off of the flow. So when you open it with like this classic Heart Don't Stand a Chance Anderson .Paak, and it's like, oh, this is like nice. This is neo soul, and you end it with, if I call you a bitch, it's because you my bitch. And like everybody's singing it, so you can't get that mad. And it's just like, man, when you open it and close it with that, everything in the middle is like, okay, what's next? Like, so even adding like Sweet Life, Frank Ocean in there, and having JK sing her heart
that
out,
was beautiful.
It brings people are now singing their heart out as well, and then I throw in a verse.
But see, there's a special art to picking a song to cover.
Oh yeah,
and open and close the show, or in the middle of the show, because your other songs kind of have to like mesh into that sound. And you did such a great job with that. Man, like your sound is very similar, or similar enough to Anderson. And to Frank, right?
Especially
like,
the live sets.
The live sets, yeah, for sure.
They make sense for that. And man, it's a blessing that like, that's always a moment that I can share with the audience. I'm singing this Frank Ocean song because I just love it.
Exactly.
I'm not singing it for you. We're singing it together.
But I'm tying you back.
No. We're singing. We're all fans at this moment. Right. We're singing Sway. We're sharing this moment right now. Yeah. And though I'm leading the charge, we're all like just enjoying this music. And when you sprinkle that in there, now it's like we're enjoying the entire set. We're enjoying all of the music.
You lock 'em in.
Man.
And the thing with doing shows is you've definitely done more shows than me, but just through my experience of doing shows, like there could be a song or a couple songs that you have them.
Yeah, for sure.
And then there's one where it's like, I might have lost them.
I don't know about that, right?
You know, it's like, and you have to like, the next time, adjust the set list. And like, it's calculated.
It changes per crowd.
It does.
Because the most controversial song I thought that I would perform would maybe be like outdated or something, because it's, you know, it's heavy bass. I took the top as a favorite. It's like, oh, you know, the grandmothers are not gonna love this. But the most controversial song that I get full dissertations about afterwards is Sunday Morning. Full dissertations about.
Why?
And it is normally older people. And I am explaining this experience of church and being a child. Yeah,
I think that might be my favorite on the album.
It evokes so much emotion.
It does.
People have cried.
It's a beautiful story. I mean,
man, thank you. People have, like, my grandmother has cried to that song, just listening and like, oh, this is like, she's remembering things, you know, and
the peppermints and the pearls.
Man, she remembers everything that's there. And then, you know, an older guy that is like super Christian that just decided to go out and go to a so far tonight. He says, pretty critical of the church, aren't we? And it's like, you know, but I love that because you are listening so deeply for something negative.
It hit regardless of how it hit.
Exactly. Yeah. And when I explained it to him, he said, wow, that is actually pretty great. And it opens these conversations. So if you look at the metrics for all of the other music, like the age range is like 18 to like 27.
Right.
And then you got specific songs that are like, 30 to... Sunday Morning, the most listened to crowd on Spotify is 50 plus. 50 plus.
It's not funny at all.
50
but that's
plus,
awesome.
like 15,000 straight. They go on there just to hear that.
Because it's that's when
and that is hilarious.
I heard that song for the first time.
Yeah.
When you performed it.
Nice.
At the single wide, double
nice.
Double
nice. Oh, at double wide. Yeah.
Again, front row. I was standing right there.
Double wide was a great one. I didn't know how that one was gonna go over because there was such a mixed crowd.
It was, but man, you won.
God,
you won them.
Loved it. It was amazing.
Because did you go on before or after that heavy metal band? I think you went on before.
I might have gone on.
I think you were on before, but I was.
Everything was all over the place.
Set list, like the not set list, like the show.
Yeah.
Why am I blanking? Like the people who are performing. What is that called? Like.
Oh, the
different artists that are performing. Show.
I don't know.
Whatever, man. The amount of people that are performing are completely different vibes.
Oh my God. It was like everyone was a polar opposite.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, who is the crowd here for? Who do I prepare like to sound closer to?
Crowd here for.
And it was like, okay, let's try an alternative song with open house. Let's do that, and that's cool. And then let's do outdated. I don't know. Elam, maybe.
Yeah, that was a tough crowd to read. And like I said, a lot of them were here for that heavy metal.
But dude, everybody was vibing with you. When Suede came,
that's what I told you that after the show too.
They were singing the ad libs.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at Ferg. I said, we got him. We had never even practiced this song before. It was like our first time even trying to do that. I was just like, fuck it, let's try it.
It went so smooth, man.
Dude, we looked at each other. This is in the rotation. It's in the rotation.
Has to be. But that show was beautiful.
Oh, man.
Just all in all. But what I'm saying about the Sunday Morning.
Yeah.
First time I ever heard it. was when you performed it, right? And it spoke to me, because if I get the lyrics wrong, correct me.
No, you're good.
Dad took me to church.
Yeah.
Mom took me there first.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's just so cool in itself too. It's like that, and then
man.
Grandma would take me to Bible study.
Yeah, while choir rehearsed. Yeah.
You just paint such a cool picture of like you as a child and church and religion and all.
My Lord.
And
man.
I just dropped an album that's like very what my beliefs of faith are.
For sure.
And so to hear that come from like it just so relatable and so cool, and also like it fits you so well. Like I don't know, man. It's a beautiful song, and then on top of that, beautiful show. Like,
man,
I can't help but be such a fan of yours, man. It blows my mind. Like I'm almost mad at how much like I love your shit. It's crazy. And then meeting you, getting to talk to you, it's amazing. So sorry to go off on the rant about how much I like you. Okay, so 2023.
Yeah.
March to December, past due to extended shows. Yeah. Creating a vibe, right? Yeah. And then it comes into the extended version. You get the verses, you get the features, and did it come out like exactly how you wanted it to? Like, was there any kind of weird setbacks, or was it like, this is the mission I had and I executed it?
Yes.
I don't know, a lot of you.
Yes to everything. It came out how I wanted. I was extremely proud of it. I think that I was not proud of it until like 2 months after it came out.
Why is that?
I think because a part of why everything seems very calculated is because it is. And it's almost a form of obsession. Like when I'm working on a project, it's all I listen to for months. Yeah. It's hard for me to be a fan of anything. And I'm listening to every small thing. Does it need to be a break in the drums right here? Like I don't like how the echo
and those type of things, like, because that's your producer hat, right? And so those little moments like can destroy you, because there's unlimited opportunities when it comes to production.
There is a slight misstep in auto-tune that is like 0.2 milliseconds on a song called Backyard.
Oh, for real? See, but as a listener,
on the reverb of somebody's, but it's not even on the main, on the reverb of Brand's voice, that to this second
you're like,
haunts me. I can't even listen to the song. It haunts me, and nobody has noticed it, and that's cool. But it haunts me. But I had to learn to like. Just let it go. Like
there's a certain thing of like, one, it's awesome that you are that calculated. Yeah. Because I'm the same way when it comes to music. Like I want to, if there's something that's just a little bit off, it blows my mind. But then also you have to look at it that sometimes like the imperfections are cool.
For sure.
And even if they're unintentional, it still is what makes that what it is. Like
happy accidents.
How many artists, like, their auto-tune is just so off. Like some of them aren't even in like the right key of the song, right? But it's like, it's a vibe though.
Yeah, no, it works like, sometimes.
As an engineer, producer, people who are in it, it's like, no. It's cringy, right? It's like,
yeah, man. I understand that. I think, you know, after sitting with it, listening through it, and actually letting go of it, not listening to it, not thinking about performing any of the new song, like nothing for like 2 months. Like just let it be. Yeah. And went back and listened to it after like just closing my ears and listening to other music. I was like, wow, I did this.
You did the damn thing.
I did this. And then it put me in a position, like it made me feel like, whew, okay. this is the first time in a while. Like even after Past Due, I was like, gotta do Deluxe. Like, you know, like gotta do that. And even while I was doing the extended version, like, gotta do this joint project.
I fall victim to that too. It's like we're working on this project right now, right? But my mind's in 2025
for sure.
You know, it's like what we need to be doing then, and it kind of takes away the happiness of the moment now.
Of the moment, right?
But you know, I was watching this movie or listening to a song, and this guy, his mind was somewhere else, and his fiance or wife was talking to him,
right?
And she's like, "What are you thinking about?
Right?
Like, why aren't you here right now?" And he goes, "I'm just trying to be where my feet are."
Right.
And I was like, "Oh,
nice.
Oh, so I have to remind myself when I get ahead.
Yeah.
I just be where your feet are.
Right.
Enjoy the moment.
Right.
But I understand default victim.
Man, it's crazy, and I think after I took the 2-month break, that then in that 2 months it was a break from listening to that, but I was still working on other stuff. Of course. Once I was done, mixed and mastered, that was finished. I looked up and I said, you know what? I am tired.
Which you should
I
be.
need to take a rest. But in the back of my mind was like, no. No. Every second you rest, there's somebody else out there trying to da-da-da-da-da. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, how do I turn that off? Turn it off for a little bit. Like, yeah, cool.
Give me a day.
And I turned it off. And I always get afraid to turn that off because it's like, okay. And it's not even, it's comfort in, I don't have nothing to write about right now. I put it all out there. And it's like, okay, you live life, of course, but I need to get through, like, I need to be in another chapter of life for me to write about the previous, right? Everything that is on Past Due were things that happened literally maybe before 20. Like this is.
You're not even caught up musically where your life is now.
Oh my God!
But that's what's so cool about you is that like it's real shit.
Yeah.
It's not go pop a bottle in the club.
For sure.
You know, it's like unless you're doing that, and
you know, and sometimes that's the vibe.
Sometimes that's what you need.
But you gotta have a sense of reality.
Of course.
You must have a sense of reality, and it has to be some sort of grounding, because everybody needs that.
I did, Drake. The only real music's gonna last.
Yeah.
All that other bullshit. Like, if you're doing, if you just want to make music for fun, that's totally cool.
Yeah.
Music is fun to make.
Yeah.
But if you're like, you have these ambitions.
Yeah.
You gotta talk about real life.
Give people something to
relate to,
but also apply. Give people something to apply. Because if you haven't gone through the thing that I've gone through, that doesn't mean you won't.
Right.
And if you understand certain principles that you pick up, or these things that you hear and you're like, like, I like the way he handled this situation from this story from XYZ.
Yeah.
And when it happens, it almost brings you back like it's an epiphany. You know what I'm saying? It give people something that they can relate to now, and that they have room to relate to, in the future.
Yeah, down the road.
So,
that's
beautiful. Man.
So 2 months.
Yeah.
Went back, listened to it.
Yeah.
Love it?
Loved it.
Okay, good. Everybody else does too, man.
Loved it. And I was like, okay, like this is cool. So, all right. And then came now we need an entire show, top to bottom. How do we do it? And it was like, that's a lot of words to remember, brother. It's a lot of words. That's a lot of pockets. That's a lot of stories. And it was like, you know what? We could do it. And put it together. And I want to say, like, since my first show, which was Another Restoring the Feeling, shout out Hendrix, man, I don't think we have, I think since then we've done like 10, 12 shows.
No, you're going show crazy right now.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Since then, we've not practiced for anything. I think we just show up with the stuff and go
But that's what all the practice was for, right?
Yeah. That's the perfect part. Like, yeah, we know it. It's in here. Just do it.
Now you can actually like have fun.
Yeah, people like seeing that.
That's what I was saying. We started this conversation. I was saying 2023 was a crazy year for you, just for me to watch.
Right.
I was like, that must have been crazy. I need to know about that. So, but taking that time to really study the show and make it what you want, and now you have like a whole new album to perform and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see you perform next, because I can only imagine what the fuck it's gonna be like, dude. Man. It's gonna be awesome. So what's 2024 looking for you right now?
The shows are getting more creative, I guess. Like the platforms are different. Sunday, we're at an art show.
This coming Sunday?
We're at the Black Boy Joy art show. Shout out to them.
Shout out to them.
They are a touring art show that's
so cool.
Tours all over the U.S. And, you know, we'll be doing a set there. We'll be at South by Southwest headquarters at a mixer. That'll be cool.
Are you have like a full set, or do you have like a couple songs?
Yeah, about 35 minutes, 40 minutes. Yeah, it's going to be a time.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
I'm going to bring my fiance.
Oh, yeah. It'll be great. And then we got, we're at Trees.
You got it?
Yeah, we're at Trees.
Oh, with Desi, right?
Yeah, with Desi. Okay. Trees. And, you know, those sets are always long. So that'll be just great to be at Trees. I'll be the only rap act, so that's going to be fun. We got that, and then we have, I believe, either the last or the second to last so far before September, when we go with So Far on a tour run, and that's gonna be crazy. I mean, that's gonna be cool, man.
Is that something you've ever experienced before, or is this brand new for you?
This will be my first, like, you know, I've done little runs, like even with So Far in Dallas, you know, okay, we got a show and a show and a show,
but not like how it's planned out.
The closest thing was like 4 shows at South by. It was like, all right, we did this, now let's go get some food. All right, we're gonna go celebrate. Cool, my voice is gone the next morning. All right, I can't do anything today but sit and drink tea and try to be quiet, because we have a show tonight where I have to scream at people. So now let's do that. So that was a taste of it. And it was like, oh my God, this is so much more about your health than like going out. Like sometimes you got to choose health over connections in those situations. And I was like, damn, this is okay. I need
especially when you take your craft serious.
Oh yeah. If I can't speak at a show, I don't even want to perform. And even at the smokeout, I was slightly hoarse. But I still did my absolute best to rap until I could not speak anymore, and people felt it. It was great.
Also, it's such a fire show. Man. You kill it every single time.
That was so much fun. And shout out to the photographers out there. They made it look like I was performing at Madison Square Garden or something. It was lit. My God.
Yeah.
Like, even the flashlights, and then the light guy seeing the flashlights and said, I'm gonna turn off all the lights. Like there was nothing. It was
but he's in tune with it.
Man.
And that was a cool venue too.
God, it was
when
a very cool
walking in the front, you're like,
I don't know about this.
Spot?
Yeah, and then you see that. Yeah, it's cool, man. So that was a great one. Everything out there was live, but yeah, man. The tour run is gonna be interesting. We're gonna be in a lot of places where, you know, we have some type of demographic, but not deep enough to be like, oh, we're selling this out.
But you got to think about this. This is like building outside the city.
The tour is called the Proof of Concept Tour.
Boom.
And that's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Yeah. And the goal is to, with a community base, sell out every single show. And with the backing, with, you know, collabing with local brands, Common Rags.
Nice.
Collabing with them on merch, as well as Dickies, as well as, you know,
promotion.
Really just
create this multiverse of content and promotion.
Man, it's like everybody that sees what this going, let's lock arms and run. Let's go, because especially with these sponsors that have the financial backing to make it happen, and it's probably the cheapest tour that anyone will ever see. It's a cheap tour.
It'll be the cheapest tour that you'll ever do.
For sure. And I believe that, like,
crazy.
Yeah, I truly believe that.
It's gonna be awesome.
Man, it's gonna be great. We're gonna do 2 nights in Nashville, which I think I'm most excited about.
You gotta send me the dates because I would love to. You go to Colorado ever?
No.
Okay.
It's like
send me the dates. I would love to fly out.
Yeah.
Go catch a show like outside of Dallas.
Oh,
you know what I'm
for
saying? Like,
sure. It's gonna be so much fun.
In a whole different environment. Like,
I'm most excited about the Philly stop.
oh man.
My God, the Philly stop is gonna be amazing.
Why are you most excited about that?
I'm so excited because
You an Eagles fan or something?
Absolutely not.
Are you a Cowboys fan at least?
Sadly I've signed a 360 deal with Jerry, and I cannot get out of it.
Dude, I think everybody in Dallas has.
It's the 360.
It's the worst deal in the world.
It's the 360.
Jerry owns us, bro.
Yeah, it's a deal to get your heart broken for the next 20 years. Every year, there's hope. And then
There's hope every year.
Every time there's hope, there's a whole lot of heartbreak. So, shout out to Jerry.
Shout out if you're listening, Jerry. Shout out.
If you're listening, I want out of the deal. Thank you. I will take my talents to Houston with CJ Stroud.
Dude,
they're showing promise. But yeah,
all right, so why
man.
Philly? Why are you excited about Philly?
So I was able to. I have a really close friend up there, Diamond A. Durant. Shout out to her. She is. She's a mogul, for lack of better. She's a mogul, dude. Like, her creative mind, how she can interact with people and put things together. She has done great things with a great venue and community up there called Rec Philly. Just a creative house. You know what I'm saying? People record there, people shoot videos, but they also have intimate shows and huge shows, and you know, it's cool. But they have a community of artists there that, you know, they cultivate, and that's who will be opening, and that's who will be a part of the band and the photographer, the people at the door. It's like, with their help, I'm able to actually immerse myself into the culture, like the creative culture of Philly. And that's so much, like, we can do that in Dallas, we can do that in Houston, anywhere in Texas we can do that because we know people to like garner that.
It's established enough.
But in Philly, it's different than in the South. It's different. So to be able to immerse in that and collaborate and meet with everyone and see who they pair with the music is gonna be, God,
dude,
it's gonna be such a time.
Just knowing you, knowing your music, knowing your vibe, and just the way you carry yourself, like, you can establish yourself in any city you go to.
Man.
Just based on who you are and the music. Like, initially it's like you meet the person's dope, awesome, and then you listen to their music, or it's the opposite, however you look at it. But you are such a full package that, like, I have no doubt that, like, when you go to these different cities and stuff, like, you are gonna gain so much fans and so much attraction. It's gonna be such a blessing to just watch from the sidelines, brother. And, like, I am super excited for you.
I appreciate that, man. I think the biggest hurdle for all of it, it's always gonna be an inward thing. Like, everything is there for the taking, but you know, it's a crazy amount of work. You know, it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of dedication to making sure this still happens and everything else stays afloat. You know what I'm saying? And trying to figure out the financial aspect of it so everybody, you know, it makes sense for everybody to even go.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a whole different ballgame, dude.
The business world of it, it almost makes it not as fun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that has been what I've been doing. And, you know, I just look at it as, you know what? You have to do it this time. You have to fully immerse, so you know the ins and outs. No one can come and tell you something that you did not learn on the first one.
You know your business all the way around.
You know your business. You know what exactly you need someone to do, who to hire, how much that costs, how much energy that takes out of that person,
or how much it should cost.
Exactly. So it's just me, like, okay, I'll be the handyman, or I'll be the guy fixing my car. So later, after I've learned how to fix my entire car, put it back together, if something falls off and I want to pay someone for it, I'll let them know how much I'm paying.
Right, how much it's worth,
and it's
actually.
fair.
Right.
It's fair. So that's the whole thing here. But yeah, man, I'm excited. It's gonna be a time.
So 2024 is huge.
It's a big one.
All right.
It's a big one for sure.
Brother, I appreciate you taking the time, not only to work on a couple tracks with me that'll be dropping later this summer, content, conversation.
Oh, of course, man.
Bro, you have so many gems.
Hey,
I respect you so much, man.
I respect you, man. I appreciate your effort on this whole thing, but
I got you, man.
It's a special thing.
It's been fun.
Hey, man.
Hey, go see him on tour.
Catch me outside.